Have you ever been right in the middle of something important online? Maybe try and book that flight or finish work or even just watch a movie.
Yeah, and suddenly it just slows right down or stops working completely.
Exactly. In this world we live in now,
Yeah.
everything's connected, right? So system reliability, it's not just nice to have. Well, it's everything.
It really is. And behind all that, making sure things stay reliable, that's a discipline called Site Reliability Engineering, SRE for short.
SRE. Okay, and what's fascinating, what we're seeing now is that SRE itself is changing, like fundamentally.
Uh-huh. It's undergoing this huge transformation, and it's being driven by artificial intelligence and machine learning, AI and ML.
A fundamental shift, you said.
Yeah.
That sounds big. So let's dive into that today.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're digging into an article from July 3rd, 2025. It's called How AI and Machine Learning Are Transforming SRE in 2025. The author is Jay Tillotson. Sounds like he knows his stuff, 25 years in IT.
Yeah, definitely has the experience.
So our mission today, for you listening, is to really unpack this. What is SRE? How are AI and ML actually redefining it right now in 2025?
And why does it matter? Why are these changes so important for the digital stuff you use every day?
Right. And what does it mean for the people, the engineers, the teams who actually build and run these complex systems?
Okay, so first things first. What exactly is SRE?
Yeah, let's start there.
At its core, site reliability engineering, it sort of marries software engineering ways of thinking with traditional IT operations.
Good.
It actually started at Google. And the basic idea, it's pretty neat. Treat operational problems like software problems.
Treat operations like software.
Okay, interesting.
It means focusing really heavily on automation,
Mm-hmm.
managing your infrastructure using code, not, manual clicks,
Mm-hmm.
and being proactive about handling incidents, trying to catch them before they affect users.
So the main goal is keeping things running smoothly. High availability, less downtime.
Exactly, especially as systems just get more and more complicated. So why did Google need this? What operational challenges were they hitting that made them think, okay, we need a software approach here?
Well, think about Google's scale, just massive complexity, traditional operations, lots of manual work. It just couldn't keep up. It became a bottleneck and, honestly, a source of errors.
Right. Makes sense at that scale.
So SRE tries to fix that. It bridges the gap between the dev teams and the ops teams, so they aren't working in silos.
Breaking down those walls.
Yeah, and it really pushes automation to cut down on what SREs call manual toil.
Manual toy.
Yeah, those repetitive, boring tasks that people often have to do, but where mistakes can easily happen. Perfect candidates for automation.
Okay, got it.
And SRE sets really clear, measurable targets for reliability, using things like SLIs, SLOs, and SLAs.
SLIs, SLOs, SLAs. Can you break those down quickly?
Sure. SLIs, service level indicators, that's what you measure, like maybe request latency or error rate.
Okay.
SLO, service level objectives, that's the target for that metric. Like 99.9% of requests should be successful.
Right, the goal.
And SLAs, service level agreements, those are usually more formal contracts, often with customers, about what happens if you don't meet the SLOs. Often there are penalties involved.
Okay, that clarity seems really important.
Yeah.
So how does this SRE approach really differ from, let's say, more traditional IT operations? What are the big contrasts?
Good question. It's quite a difference. Traditional ops, often very manual, very reactive. Something breaks, then you fix it. Firefighting.
Right, whereas SRE is trying to be proactive,
Yeah.
automated.
Exactly. Automated, proactive prevention. Finding and fixing potential issues before they blow up.
And you mentioned the silos before. Traditional setups often have dev teams and ops teams separate, maybe even pointing fingers when things go wrong.
Uh-huh. SRE pushes for integrated teams. Collaboration. Reliability is everyone's job.
So less focus on just uptime and firefighting, more on
What?
continuous improvement.
Continuous improvement, absolutely. Building reliability in from the start, using automation for everything possible.
And you mentioned monitoring earlier. How does SRE approach that differently?
That's where this idea of observability comes in, and it's a big deal in SRE. Traditional monitoring might just give you alerts, CPU is high, disk is full.
Okay. Static alerts.
Right. Observability is deeper. It's about being able to ask any question about what's happening inside your system based on the data it emits, logs, metrics, traces.
So it's not just knowing that something is wrong, but having the data to figure out why.
Precisely. You get much deeper insights. You can predict problems better, understand complex failures. It's designed for the kind of massive distributed systems we see today, unlike some older monitoring tools.
Okay, that makes sense. So Fast forward to 2025, where we are now. The article argues AI and ML aren't just helping SRE a little bit, they're indispensable.
That's the word the source uses, indispensable. They're fundamentally reshaping how reliability and efficiency are achieved. It's not just an add-on anymore.
So how? Let's get into the specifics. The article breaks it down into key areas, right?
Yeah, 5 main areas where AI and ML are really driving the change. And for each one, there are some pretty concrete examples.
Okay, let's start with the first one. Predictive analytics and proactive incident prevention.
Right. This is all about using AI and ML to crunch huge amounts of data logs, metrics, traces, all that telemetry in real time.
And the goal is to spot trouble early, like faint signals of a problem.
Exactly. Spotting anomalies, predicting failures before they actually impact any users, allowing SRE teams to step in proactively.
Okay, so who's doing this well? The article mentions Toyota.
Yeah, Toyota is a fascinating example. They built an AI platform using Google Cloud's AI infrastructure that's actually simple enough for their factory workers to use.
Factory workers using AI. Wow.
They can build and deploy machine learning models that analyze sensor data from the equipment on the factory floor, looking for early warnings of mechanical problems.
That's amazing. What else are they doing?
They're also working with a company called Invisible AI, deploying these edge AI devices, think NVIDIA processors, high-res 3D cameras, right on the assembly lines in like 14 factories in North America.
Edge AI on the factory floor. So analyzing things right there in real time.
Exactly. Monitoring and optimizing the assembly lines constantly. Using Google Cloud AI, Invisible AI, NVIDIA Tech, IoT sensor data.
And the result for Toyota? What's the payoff?
Pretty significant. Reduced unplanned downtime. Saved over 10,000 man-hours a year.
Dang.
Which means better efficiency, lower costs, and ultimately better product quality. It shows how AI shifts things from reaction to prediction.
Okay, prediction is powerful. But what if something still goes wrong? Or what if the aim is just to take humans out of the loop for common fixes?
Right. That leads perfectly into the second area, autonomous incident resolution and self-healing systems.
Self-healing. That sounds futuristic.
It kind of is, but it's happening now. This is where AI systems don't just detect problems, they autonomously diagnose them and fix them.
Without a human needing to intervene.
Often, yes, for certain classes of problems. This frees up the SREs to focus on more complex, strategic work instead of routine fixes.
Who's a good example here? Uber.
Uber is a prime example. They use AI agents that watch their system's health. If they detect an anomaly, they can automatically do things like restart a service or reroute traffic.
And this isn't just for their main website or app.
No, it applies across the board. Customer support systems, even their autonomous vehicle development systems. Their scaled solutions group uses tools like ULabel for data annotation, and these AI-driven incident management platforms, iAlert and Incident.io, are mentioned.
Okay, iAlert, Incident.io.
Yeah, they help automate the whole incident response workflow.
And the impact for Uber.
Dramatic reduction in resolution times. We're talking going from hours down to minutes for many incidents.
Hours and minutes. That's huge for reliability.
Absolutely. Better customer service reliability, obviously. But it also lets their engineers focus on building new things, not just fighting fires. So better efficiency, happier customers. It really changes the game operationally.
Okay, so we've got prediction and automated fixes. But you mentioned observability earlier. How does AI make that better? That's the third area, right? Enhanced observability and intelligent monitoring.
Exactly. Modern systems are so distributed, so complex, it generates a ton of data. Just raw alerts can be overwhelming.
Alert fatigue. I've heard that term.
Precisely. AI helps here by correlating events across all those different systems. It can filter out the noise, figure out what's actually important, and give you actionable insights, not just raw data dumps.
Making sense of the chaos, essentially.
You got it. ATB Financial is mentioned as a good case study here.
A bank.
Yeah. They rolled out an AI-based observability solution built using Google Cloud BigQuery and also some generative AI tools like Gemini for Workspace.
Gemini. Interesting. How do they use it?
This AI ops platform pulls in data from all over their banking systems, structured data, unstructured data, and correlates it. It gives them this single unified view of performance and security.
So using BigQuery, Gemini, other AI ops platforms, what was the benefit for ATB?
They saw a 40% reduction in that alert fatigue we talked about.
40%. That's significant for the team.
Huge. And faster incident response times, too, which leads to better reliability, more productive teams, happier customers. It lets SREs focus again, focus on improving things, not just drowning in alerts.
Makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Prediction, self-healing, Better observability.
Mm.
What's next? Resources. Area 4, resource optimization and cost efficiency.
Right. Cloud computing is flexible, but it can get expensive if you're not careful. Over-provisioning resources just in case.
Yeah, paying for capacity you don't always need.
Exactly. So AI models can be trained to forecast demand much more accurately. Think predicting peak traffic times.
Okay.
And then they can dynamically scale the resources up or down automatically, optimizing how much infrastructure you're actually using, controlling costs, but without hurting performance.
So smart scaling. Wayfair is the example here, the online furniture retailer.
Yep. They use Google Cloud's Vertex AI and also a platform called Densify, which focuses on FinOps financial operations for cloud.
Vertex AI and Densify.
They use these tools to predict those peak shopping periods really accurately.
Like Black Friday, maybe?
Exactly. And then they automatically scale up their e-commerce platform's compute power, bandwidth, whatever's needed, then scale it back down when the rush is over. They also use Vertex AI pipelines for running experiments quickly, using things like Bayesian optimization to fine-tune everything.
So what's the bottom line for Wayfair? Did it save them money?
It did. They cut over-provisioning by 25%.
25% reduction. That's real money in cloud bills.
Absolutely. Lower cloud costs, but still delivering a smooth experience for shoppers even during huge traffic spikes. And it helps them make faster business decisions based on that data. AI makes the cloud truly elastic and smart, not just scalable.
Okay, that's compelling. That leaves one more area. Security and compliance? Area 5. AI-driven security and compliance.
Yeah, this is a critical one. Security threats are constant, complex, and compliance rules keep changing.
So how does AI help SRE teams here?
It helps detect threats by spotting anomalous behavior, things that look out of the ordinary that might signal a cyber attack. It's much faster and often more subtle than rule-based systems.
Finding needles in the haystack?
Kind of, yeah. And it can also automate a lot of compliance checks, making sure configurations are correct, access controls are right, generating reports, reducing risk.
Scotiabank is the example. Another financial institution.
Yes. Scotiabank, they're using Google Cloud Vertex AI again, and also WorkFusion's intelligent automation platform.
What are they doing with them?
Monitoring user access patterns, flagging weird activity in real time, automating compliance checks. They even run internal AI hackathons
Hackathons for what?
to build their own fraud detection models for e-commerce. And they're using LLMs, large language models, for things like summarizing customer support interactions with chatbots.
Wow, they're really embracing AI across the board.
Seems like it. Google Vertex AI, WorkFusion, LLMs, custom models.
And the results for Scotiabank.
Pretty impressive. They cut security incident response times by 50%. Yeah. Maintained continuous compliance, which is huge in banking. And the cost savings are eye-popping. $4.2 million saved in just 6 months from automating one specific task, adverse media monitoring.
$4.2 million. Wow.
Yeah. So it avoids potential fines, protects their reputation. It shows AI isn't just about operations. It's a strategic tool for managing major business risks.
Okay, these 5 areas paint a really clear picture of transformation. But what about the people, the SREs themselves, all this automation? Does it change their jobs?
It absolutely does, and that's a really important part of the story. As AI takes over more of the routine, the manual tasks, the SRE role is shifting.
Shifting away from hands-on fixes.
Of course, more strategic oversight, yeah, more complex problem solving, thinking about the bigger picture.
So what are the new focus areas for SREs then?
Things like system design architecting for resilience with AI in mind, managing the AI models themselves, training them, monitoring their performance, and governance, ensuring AI is used responsibly and effectively.
Which implies they need new skills, right?
Definitely. Skills in AI itself, data science, machine learning, SREs need to understand how these systems work to leverage them properly. It's a continuous learning curve.
But is it seen as a threat or an opportunity?
The source suggests it's really an opportunity. It empowers SREs. They get to collaborate with AI, interpreting the insights AI provides, guiding the automation, driving improvements faster than ever before.
Collaboration with AI agents.
Yeah. And there's this convergence happening between SRE and MLOps, machine learning operations, that creates new roles, new ways for teams to work together, and critically, new focus on the ethical side of AI deployment and oversight.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've covered a lot of ground. The clear message seems to be AI and ML aren't just tweaking SRE, they're fundamentally rewriting the playbook.
Absolutely. Making systems more resilient, yes, but also way more efficient and significantly more secure. It's a complete overhaul.
Which leads us to that critical question the source poses, aimed right at you, the listener.
Right. It asks, is your organization prepared to integrate AI and machine learning into your SRE practices to stay ahead of the complexity and demands of modern digital operations?
It's a big question, because the article concludes with a really strong statement.
It does. The future of reliability is intelligent automation.
Intelligent automation. So organizations that jump on this, that weave AI and ML into how they do SRE.
They won't just keep the lights on, they'll actually unlock new ways to innovate, new paths for growth.
So the final thought really is,
Mm.
it's not if AI will transform SRE anymore.
No, the question now is, how quickly will your organization adapt to this new reality?